And welcome into Press Box Live. As you can see, there is no Luke Jackson and no Ross Grimsley. They'll both be back hopefully next week. But joining me is number 29, and as some would say, number one in their hearts, Ken Singleton, former Baltimore Oriole, Hall of Famer in the Orioles Hall of Fame. Kenny, thank you for pinch hitting for Ross Grimsley.
My pleasure, Stan. Anytime. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Hey, first of all, how did you and Ross become such good teammates, good
Uh,
friends?
well, first of all, well, you know Ross. I mean, he's very outgoing. He's very supportive. I think that he's the type of guy who would do anything for you.
Right.
Uh, and he was a great teammate too. I mean, a very good pitcher. You know that.
Oh yeah.
And the fact is that we became friends over the years, and even more so now on the golf course over these last, I don't know, 20, 25 years or so. I've known Ross almost 50 years. So,
And who else plays with you? Does Bunbury play with you a lot?
yeah, Bunbury does, Tippy Martinez, Dave Johnson. Yeah, a bunch of guys that live around here. We get out there and play
All right.
every once in a while. In fact, I think I'm playing Wednesday with Tippy. So that should be fun.
All right. Before we dig into some baseball stuff, I know our timing isn't perfect because it's a recap, but tell us about the recently completed Cool Kids golf tournament.
Oh, well, thanks for
How
asking,
many
Stan.
how many years has it been that you've been part of this?
This is 19 years now we've been doing
Wow.
this.
Wow.
So, and over the years, we've raised quite a bit of money to help kids and families that are dealing with the cancer issues. And every service we provide to them is free. So, and we're going to keep it up as long as we can. This year, Scott Garceau's group won, and Joe Washington's group was second. I was happy with that as long as Dempsey Tippy or B didn't win, because I'll be hearing about it forever. Uh,
Was Dempsey in for it?
yeah, he came in for it.
Great.
Of course, he's always a threat to win. 2 years ago, his group won,
Yeah.
but they didn't this year.
All right.
It was Scott Garceau must have had some young bombers in his group. Yeah,
Scott,
guys who can hit the ball a long way.
I know Scott because I compete with him in a fantasy baseball league. He is one competitive guy, I'll tell you that. Tell me what is the tournament like? What's the format? Do you have is it one day of golf? And tell us a little bit about what goes on.
Okay, first of all, guys who usually come in on Friday and Saturday we have at Riley's Oyster House we have a guest bartender night, and we raise a lot of money there. The place was packed this year. A lot of people came out and supported the cool kids. Then on Sunday we have the celebrities play. We play 9 holes, sort of like a practice round, and then on Monday we play with the sponsors. Every sponsor gets a celebrity to play with, and usually, we sell out every year. We had, I think, 18 guys this year, so we had sponsor a celebrity for every hole, and it's great food, great parties. It's a lot of fun, but I think that the people return every year because they know it's a good cause.
Yeah, yeah, no question about it. Does it gives you I know this is something that you take a lot of pride in accomplishing.
Yeah, I do. I think everybody's been touched by cancer issues. Everybody knows somebody, and but when you see kids dealing with it, it's a little tougher, Stan. We have Halloween and Christmas parties for the kids who, are dealing with cancer, and to see their faces light up when they see Santa Claus, and all dressed up in Halloween costumes. And we have nights where the parents can drop off the kids at the clubhouse in Towson, and then the parents can go out and enjoy themselves. And it's for the whole family. I mean, the whole
Yeah,
family is touched by this, and any way we can help them out. We have we have vacation homes that they can go to in Myrtle Beach and Lewes, Delaware. If they, want some days to be together as a family, they can use it. It's all free of charge. And so those are the type of things that we do. We have tutoring for the kids. When you're, being hospitalized, you miss a lot of school.
No question
So
about it.
yeah, we have tutoring for the kids too. So those are the sort of things that we do. We send gift baskets to kids in hospitals. We have a newsletter that goes out to them too. So it's just something that's kind of grown over the years, and we've gotten support not only in the Baltimore area, but now we have tournaments in golf tournaments in Tennessee, in Nashville. We have one in Naples, Florida. We have one in Boston. We have one in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mike Eruzione hosts the one in Boston, and Dan Jansen hosts the one in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And all these were spawned off of this cool kids that started with you
Yeah.
guys here.
Ours is the first one, and the others have, we invited those guys over the years to play here, and then they got involved and started tournaments in their own
That's
hometowns.
really fantastic. Kenny,
Yeah.
I know it doesn't always turn out positively for the kids and their
Yeah.
families, but do you have stories of kids that now that were 8 or 10 years old and now they're in their 20s and they're doing okay? And you got a
Yeah.
lot of stories like that?
I think, Stan, what has happened over the years that the survival rates for pediatric cancer have gotten much better. I think the way that the treatment is better and the kids survive. And, I just, of course, a few of them don't make it. And
Yeah.
that's sad. I can recall there was one youngster we had years ago, and he wanted a ball from Derek Jeter. I was doing Yankee games at the time. So I went to Derek, and of course, he signed the ball. I got back to Baltimore with the baseball from spring training, and I gave him the ball. He was almost comatose at the time because he was getting down to the last stages, but he did hold the baseball. And when I got back to Florida, Derek asked me about it, and I said, unfortunately, the young man passed away, but he did get your baseball and he did hold it, and that made Derek smile a little bit.
That's a great story. Great story. Hey, before we talk some Orioles, I wanted to
Mhm.
talk to you about somebody. I know you didn't work specifically with him over
Uh-huh.
the years, but you shared the fact that you were Yankee broadcasters with the
Yeah.
late John Sterling. Uh, you have a story or two about John or recollections of John?
Well, John preceded me with the Yankees. I
Yeah,
was there 25 years, and I think he was there like 37, 38
yeah,
years. And of course, the voice of the Yankees on the radio, his unique home run calls. He had a home run call for every player, and I think that's it was his one of his main drawing cards. Beside the fact he had a great voice, and I saw him. Our boss said, "Yes, John Filippelli retired," and I saw John at the celebration at Yankee Stadium during the winter, and he looked okay. He was
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
But then he had a heart attack, and I think he went downhill from there, and then eventually passed away.
yeah.
He he was he was fun to be around. Sometimes all the broadcasters would go out for dinner on the road, and John, he'd always come in and have that voice, "Hello, Ken, how are you doing?" Just that sort of thing. And he was just a fun guy to be around. He would definitely let you know what was on his mind. He wasn't afraid to let you know.
No,
But
that,
as I said, the fans, some of the fans loved him, and some of the fans, they just
there's no
didn't get
question
his
about
style.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't quite get his style, but it was fun.
I just got to ask you this, and you might not be the right guy to ask.
Uh-huh.
The way his career, he started in radio, he then did
Yeah,
some TV, and then he was with the Atlanta Braves. He had done hockey and basketball.
yeah.
Was he ever, was there ever a period before Michael Kay became ensconced in TV that
Uh-huh.
John was up for that or he wanted to stay in radio?
That's a good question because Michael started out in radio with John.
With John, right, before
Yeah.
Susan Walton.
Then Michael came over when they started the Yes Network. Mike came over
Yeah,
and worked with us on television, and John stayed on the radio,
yeah,
and he worked with Susan Waldman on radio, and they were a great team for Susan's still there now, working with Dave Sims.
Dave is
Who,
great. Yeah.
yeah,
Dave,
Dave was with Seattle for what, 18,
long
19
time.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time we'd go out to Seattle, Dave's an East Coast guy. He's trying to get back east, and he finally
Dave
made
went Dave went to high school with my sister-in-law. They knew each other
in
like
Philly,
40 years ago. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Philadelphia. That's where he's
Yeah.
from. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
great guy.
Um, Kenny, are you following the Yankees at all? Much?
Yeah, I follow. I love baseball. I follow it.
I had a feeling you still love
Yeah,
baseball.
and in fact, this is going to be a long night of baseball for me because the Yankees come on in a little while, and I'll watch them. And then the Orioles are on the West Coast, and I'll stay up and watch. I don't know how long I can stay up, but I'll stay up and watch some of their game too. It's not like it used to be. In fact, I got a good story for you. Years ago, um, I was playing and I had an eye infection, and I couldn't go on the West Coast trip. And so not trying to watch too much television because of eye infection, I tried to listen to the games on radio. And I'll tell you, Stan, I don't know how the fans back east do it, man, when these guys are on the West Coast, because I was asleep by the third inning. I would find out in the morning,
Right.
what happened in the game. And I don't know, did you do your radio show after the West Coast games or no?
Yes. Yes. A lot of times I did. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
mean you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning doing the
I I went a couple times, Kenny. I went about, I'd say, in the several years I was with WFBR after
uh
games. I'd say I went 6 or 8 times. Games ended at 2 in the morning, and I
yeah.
stayed on from 2 until Johnny Walker came on at like 6 in the morning.
Wow,
And I
Stan.
used to, and I used to get people like Tracy Ringlesby from the West Coast and
Uh-huh.
Larry Boa when he was managing the Hawaii Islanders or something like that.
Well, you're the Iron Man. Forget Cal.
Uh,
You just, I
nah,
just, I was
Cal
thinking
Cal
about
got
that
that moniker. Cal got that
when we
moniker.
started talking about the Orioles on the West Coast, and I remember your post game show. It's because
Yeah,
I would listen to him on the way home from the
yeah.
ballpark.
You
Just
know who used to listen to my show religiously was Earl Weaver, and
oh,
I really took that as a badge of honor.
uh,
Earl said to me one time, I said, I think the Orioles are going to go on an 8-game winning streak. And we went on an 8-game winning streak and we lost the ninth. And he comes up to me the next day. He goes, why the hell didn't you say we'd go on a 12-game winning streak?
Earl used to say winning streaks are comprised of 1-game winning streaks. That's what
Yeah,
he used to say.
yeah,
And back in the day, we had the pitchers to keep it going. I think that was one of the reasons for our success over the years, because our guys, no matter who we put out there, was as good or better as the pitcher that the other guys had starting the games. And it's not like now where starting pitcher goes 5 innings, he's out of the game.
yeah.
And every night, Stan, it seems like each team uses 4 or 5 pitchers.
Do you know
Back in
how
the
many
day, we
pitchers?
used.
You know how many pitchers? I counted this up the other day, Ken.
Uh-huh,
Each team starts with 13 pitchers. So there's 30 times 13, right?
uh-huh.
10 times is it's like 390 pitchers. There have been 967 pitchers used this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I read something the other day, and I think the player was James Wood
of the
of the
Nationals.
Nationals.
Yeah,
Yeah. Somebody said that he's relatively young in his career,
yeah,
and it was written that he has already faced more pitchers than Ted Williams faced in his whole career.
that's
Because
mind blowing. That is mind blowing.
how many pitchers they use in games.
Yeah, yeah,
Back in Ted Williams' day, if you used 2 pitchers or 3 in a game, that was a lot.
a lot.
So yeah, I mean, that's an amazing statistic to me.
That is
And there's
hard to believe.
and
Hard to
there's
believe.
another one that I saw the other day, that with the third, now we're past the point now of a third of the season, but with a third of the season completed this year, 67 players had struck out 50 times or more. Well, it gets better. If you go back in time, back to 1976 when I was playing,
Yeah.
third of the season, no players had struck out 50 times or more.
Wow. That is an unbelievable
Yeah,
statistic.
and you know what? to me, I watch these games and watch people just strike out left and right. Now I know there are more hard throwers than there used to be.
Yeah, and
There's
they're
no
facing multiple relievers that come in
exactly
and throw 90.
multiple pitchers. Somebody you're seeing for the first time. Maybe you've never seen him before,
Right.
but everybody's throwing 95 plus. So you got to be ready. I think that's one reason for all the striking out. I imagine I would have struck out more too, but I
Yeah.
hated to strike out. I just didn't like it. It felt like it was a total waste of time.
Well, you had an uncanny eye. I compare you to like sort of Paul O'Neill and the
Uh-huh.
kind of season that Taylor Ward is having this year with the
Yeah.
Orioles, where he's
Yeah.
walking so much. But you were always a very tough out when you did
Uh,
make it out.
yeah. I didn't like making the last out of an inning. Certainly didn't like making the last out of a game. Mike Flanagan used to say we could save a lot of time when Singy comes up to the plate. Just start the count at 3-2.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Kenny, when I asked you if you're watching the Yankees, one
Uh-huh.
of the hitters that's really impressed me so much, I almost think he's almost in the class of Judge as a hitter,
Ooh.
is Ben Rice.
Yeah, he's getting there. Yeah. He's really improved. When he first came up, I mean, he hasn't been in the big leagues all that long. I think this might be only
Like
his
three
third, maybe
years.
fourth season. Yeah. And I think he's like third or fourth in the league in home runs, and he's up there in runs batted in. And right now, he's kind of continuing it without Judge behind him, which kind of,
Which is it's
yeah,
staggering. Yeah, what
yeah,
he's
Judge
doing
is
there.
not going to be back for at least another month.
Yep.
So, and to me, I thought the Yankees would start to go down a little when the Judge left, but
They've
I
held
think
their own.
as
They've
a
held
group,
their own. Yeah.
yeah, I think as a group they decided, well, he's not going to be here. We're going to have to do something about it. And not only they're winning games, they're still hitting home runs. Let's put it that they're leading the majors in home runs, but they'd be leading a lot more if Judge was playing.
Ken, you when you got older, I know your career started to take a little bit of a dip.
Yeah,
One of the players that had a terrible dip last year, first year with the Yankees, was Paul Goldschmidt. And
yeah.
I didn't think there was a chance in hell that they'd re-sign him. But he really shows how professional a hitter he is. He's had a tremendous bounce back season.
Yeah, he's one reason they re-signed him because he hit pretty well against
Against
left-handed pitching.
left-hander. Yeah.
Yeah, so but now with Judge out, he's getting to play a lot more against righties and lefties, and he's been productive. I mean, he's kind of turning back the clock. He's 38 years old. I mean, he's a former MVP. He's a possibility of being a Hall of Fame player. He's got some pretty good numbers over this lengthy career.
Yeah.
And I don't. I'd be afraid to know where the Yankees are without him because he's come through. Cashman waited a long time before he signed him and got him to spring training this year.
Yep.
But
Turned out to
Gold,
be a very smart move. Very
yeah,
smart move.
definitely. But I think Goldschmidt was contemplating retiring too.
Yeah.
But he came back.
If you looked at what that team needs right now to really
Mhm.
take them, I'm reading rumors that they're looking into acquiring Ryan Jeffers, a right-handed
Yeah.
catcher.
Uh-huh.
Is that what they need? One more hitter in the lineup, or do they need some bullpen help? And my question about that
Mhm.
is Carlos Lagrange, I know you know the name,
Yeah.
is he, they just moved him to the bullpen about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Have you seen a little bit of him?
I saw him in spring training, and he was one of these guys that's throwing 95 to 100, and
Yeah.
it's all about missing bats. So if they move him to the bullpen, they did it for a reason. I
Yeah.
think that he could help them in the bullpen. You're talking about the catching. I think that's been the weak spot for the Yankees this year. Austin Wells has not hit very well. Um, Escara, he's not really a big time hitter.
Yep.
So, I've even heard talk up in New York about Adley Rushman going, but I
Uh,
don't see that happening. I don't.
I don't see
No,
that happen.
no, but this guy from Minnesota that you mentioned, that could be a possibility. First of all, the two catchers the Yankees have are both left-handed hitters,
Yep.
so they could use a right-handed hitting catcher.
How about the starting pitching? How has Garrett Cole been since he's come back?
Yeah, you ask about. He's pitching tonight. In fact,
Okay.
he's been pretty good. 2-1. His ERA is just over two. He's throwing well. He's gotten it up to 97. Um, they're waiting on Max Fried to come back. When he gets back, oh, they can throw some pitchers at you. I mean,
I mean, Weathers will probably go to the bullpen.
yeah, he probably will. I mean, Schlittler he's the real deal. I mean,
He is.
he's good. I mean, Rodon is good. And yeah, so
And Will
that's
Warren's pretty good.
Will Warren is what, 7-1,
I
eight and
think
one, or
nine
seven
and
and two.
yeah, 7-1. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
about right.
he's been good. So I think basically with Judge being out, they've won more close games, like 3-2 and 2-1
Yeah.
and 5-4 and things like that, because their starting pitching is keeping them in the game. And they got some guys in the bullpen who are pretty good. Bednar's pretty good. Cruz is good. Um,
Doval has been up and down a little,
he's
but
okay.
Tim
Tim,
Hill has been
ground
good.
ball
Hill's
guy.
good. The
Tim Hill's a
left-hander.
ground ball guy,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lefty. Um, I just the Rays have kind of held with them and stayed with them. I think they're about 2 games back, but I don't see them staying, especially when Judge comes. It's going to take Judge a while, though. I can see him not. It's
In
hard to jump. It's
August
hard to
1st.
jump on a moving train. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just yeah. So I mean, everybody else has been playing. He can't swing a bat. He can't do anything. So it's like going through spring training again.
Let me pay one bill right now with the
Okay.
sponsor read, and then we'll do about 5 minutes on the Orioles, and I'll let you get out of it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All
We're
right.
talking with Ken Singleton. And I know if Ken ever gets an opportunity to eat crabs, one of the places I'm sure he likes is the Costa Sin. Costa Sin over on North Point Boulevard. They now have two locations, 4100 North Point Boulevard, and that's where you have to go for crabs. Call them ahead, 410-477-1975 to check on the price of the crabs, the size of the crabs, and the availability, so you don't just drive over there and get shut out, as so many teams in baseball do. Once in a while, they get shut out. The new Costas is over in Timonium at the fairgrounds. It's right above the grandstand at the Timonium Racecourse, right next to the OTB. Both places open lunch and dinner every day of the week. That's the Costas Inn. Also brought to you by Warnken Law. We'll talk about them more on the next show. Warnken Law, 443 results. We're with Ken Singleton right now. Kenny, you made mention that you watch a little bit of the Orioles as well.
Mhm.
They're like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde this year, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they played really well against the Dodgers. I mean,
It was a terrific series. Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the toughest stop on the trip, and they took 2 out of 3. Now they go down to play the Angels, and to me, they got to win 2 out of 3 again, at least 2 out of 3.
I'm
Get a
going
little
fur I'm
momentum.
going further. I think they gotta really press the gas now and win all three in Anaheim.
Oh, okay, I'll go with you with that. That would be nice. I mean, you're speaking of playing well on the West Coast. That in 1979, we won 102 games. We had one West Coast trip, Stan. We won every game on the trip.
I
We
remember it. I
Yeah, we
remember it
went
well.
to Anaheim, Oakland, and Seattle, and swept. We went 9-0 on the West Coast, and that team was awesome that year. Until we got to the World Series. But,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
yeah,
What do you make of the Orioles? You mentioned that old adage about your momentum is only as good as the next day's pitcher. To me, there have been issues offensively too, but
yeah.
pitching wise, do they have the right stuff to contend?
They've got some guys who are pitching well. Bradish he's one of the better pitchers in the league, if you ask
Yeah.
me. I think this Young, he's been
Brandon
pretty
Young.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've
Club
only
is
lost
the
two
club is
games
ten
against
and
pitch
two. They're 10-2 when he
in his
starts.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know people were disappointed in Trevor Rogers, but I will tell you this, Stan, he's pitching better. But when you have the flu, I don't know if you've ever had the flu before. That
I've
that
had
can
it
knock
before.
you for a loop.
Not be, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and it takes a while to recover from that. When he came back, he was getting hammered a little bit, and
yep.
I'm thinking, well, he's not completely over this. It's going to take a while to regain your strength, and now he's throwing better. So I think those three guys in particular, and Boz
And
has been
Boz
pretty
has
good.
been much better over the last month.
Yeah, they got to score some runs for him, though. It just if they can get him 4 or 5, they're going to be in the game. So, and I think the pitching is going to be better. I know the Orioles are what, like 4 or 5 games under 500.
Yeah, they're 5 games
Before you
under.
start thinking about anything, you got to get to 500.
No
So
question about it.
yeah,
That's why I think a sweep of the Angels is
yeah,
got to get close there.
and then you're
Um,
coming home.
I know you didn't when you're in New York doing Yankee games, you didn't get to watch the Mets much, but you
No,
crossed over with Alonso up there. He's really come on the last 3 4 weeks, and he's
yeah.
showing why he's worth the money that the club gave him.
Well, first of all, one reason I thought he was worth it because he plays every day, Stan. Just every day he's in there. I think over the last, I don't know how many years, he's only missed like 10 games.
Yeah,
So to me, to have a guy like that, you could just write his name in a lineup every single day and just fill in around him. Somebody asked me, Singy, how'd you play 155 games a year? I said, because Earl Weaver put me in a lineup 150. Yeah, that's how I did it. That was trying to raise my kids and, pay off houses, stuff like that. So I tell people Earl probably started putting me and Eddie and then filled in the rest, though, and that was it.
I got to ask you about two other players, and I'll let you get out of here. What do you
Okay.
make of Sammy Basayo? So, I mean,
Well,
he's an
first of
interesting
all, he's a
player.
big kid. He's
Yeah,
big. I mean, he's about 230.
he's like you. He's like
He's got
big.
my number. He's wearing my number. There's still some hits in it. So I hope for all the best for him.
Yeah,
He seems to be a very nice young man,
yeah.
and I think you're seeing the tip of the iceberg right now. I mean, he's got 10 home runs already. So that kind of tells me he's going to hit 20 plus this year. And once you get your feet on the ground in the league and know the pitchers better, then you're talking about 30. So I think that I know the Orioles gave him a fairly lengthy deal,
Yep.
so they have faith in him. So let's see what he can do over the years.
My last question is about a player. I'm asking you to put your batting coach hat on.
Okay.
If you had a chance to chat with Gunnar Henderson,
Uh-huh.
um, what what would you what would you advise him to do?
Uh, I would say, Gunnar, you've got all the talent in the world. I mean, you've got great speed. You play good shortstop. You run the bases like your hair is on fire, and you run the bases well. Now, as far as your hitting, don't try and hit everything out of the ballpark. It's nice to hit 30. You can hit 30 home runs by mistake. That
Yeah,
that pitchers are going to make mistakes. You're going to hit enough of them. But the thing is, you got to be able to get those hits with 2 strikes. Hit the ball over the short. He's a left-handed hitter. Hit the ball the other way. Hit it over the shortstop's head. Keep your at bat going by fouling off tough pitches. I think he's fallen into the syndrome that a lot of hitters have now, and they have one swing. It's all about going,
all out.
all or nothing, and that's not hitting to me. I really appreciate now guys like Tony Gwynn and Wade Boggs and how they hit. I mean, they weren't home run hitters, but they were tough outs, and they're getting on base 40% of the time.
Yeah. One other question about Gunner. Do you
Uh-huh.
like? I know we like how he plays with his hair on fire, and he's really spirited, and he's psyched, and he's into it. But do you think he's too demonstrative when something goes wrong? Does it
I,
rub you the wrong way that he's like almost seems like he wants to break a bat every time he strikes out? And he's always
well,
angry about
you know
something.
what? I didn't like striking out either, Stan, but I felt that I've got another at bat coming tonight, and I'm going to make the most of that one. I'm not going to give the pitcher that much satisfaction to know that he's ticked me off because he struck me out. I'm going to treat it like it was a mistake, and I'll be back in 2 innings, and we'll see what happens then.
There's the real number 29, Ken Singleton, and he's right about one thing. There's a lot of hits still in that jersey number that Sammy Vasaya is going to get. Thank you for pinch hitting for Ross Grimsley today.
My pleasure, and hope everything turns out okay for Ross.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you soon, Kenny. Thank you very much.
Have
For
a good
Ken
night.
Singleton, I'm Stan the Fan Charles. Orioles play tonight on the West Coast. Kyle Bradish against Sam Aldergetty. It starts at, I think, 10 o'clock, 9:38 it starts tonight. All right. We'll see you next Monday.